Today in Ni No Kuni Speedrun, we're beating up a pregnant lady, seeing 3 new boss strategies, and getting a new way to skip encounters that you can use casually to skip right past all the monsters. Upon returning to Alma Moon, we'll buy 11 Adamance badges which allow the character survive at 1 HP if they had more than a certain percentage of health left before taking damage to boost the party's overall survivability. We'll also make some magical cheese to bring as an offering to Queen Lola and find out that she's broken-hearted and has no restraint. So we'll take some from her right-hand man Abul and give it to her. She grants us a permit to use her floaty woody to travel across the seas and also gives us a picture of this guy she's simping for. But upon returning to Castaway Cove, this asshole comes and steals both the permit and the picture. So we confront him and find out that he's also broken-hearted and has been taken over by a nightmare. The fight starts with a pulse into a counter, but we won't be using Oliver as much for this fight. Lamal will start with a sharpener to boost attack by 15% for 30 seconds, and then we'll have Mighty be our main damage dealer. By now, Mighty has leveled up enough that he can hit more than half as hard as Oliver's magic, so it's more efficient to use him instead since attacks are much faster and don't use MP. Unfortunately, we can't stay as Mighty the entire fight because of the stamina system, so we'll periodically switch back to Oliver to cast Pulse and Lamal to refresh Sharpener while he's recovering. The main skills we have to watch out for are Bad Dream, which inflicts sleep, and Grudge, which inflicts Curse. Though Curse is less worrisome since it just makes you run slower. Because counters require you to wait for the enemy to actually attack, we also won't be getting many counters with Mighty if any at all because we have to play so aggressively to go fast. We'll have to wait until we switch back to Oliver before we can reliably counter. After defeating Swain's Nightmare, we'll go get some strength from the mayor and give it to Swain, who then gives back the permit and picture in exchange for joining our party. We can now open these faraway green chests by having him shoot it with this weird grabby gun. We'll also get a new familiar, Hurley, who's probably the most useless familiar we'll be getting. We'll ride the ship and head towards Optania to meet the guy in the photo, but along the way, we encounter Shadara again. Guess we'll be fighting the big bad now. This will be a Mighty focused fight. We'll start with a quick pulse with Oliver and then swap to Mighty when Shadara is close enough. We also want to get Sharpener on Mighty as soon as we can to boost its damage. Because Shadara also teleports all over the place, we'll have to swap back to Oliver to chase him and use Pulse while we're swapped over as well, though Mighty is the main star of the show. Shadara has one cutscene skill, Bleak Midwinter, which we'll have to defend against. He also has Pyre, which locks you in place so that you can't dodge the spiral of fire, but we can just say screw your rules and swap to or from a familiar to avoid it. Another skill he has is Fell Wind, which blows a gust of wind in front of him, but we can easily avoid that by going behind him. For being the most feared villain in the world and all, he sure has some easy to dodge skills. Once he's at around half health, the fight ends with him unleashing the Eye of the Storm on us to destroy our ship. But thankfully we survive, though we get stranded on Drippy's homeland, the Fairy Grounds. Here we'll grab this chest for a Poison Pinch gem, buy a new weapon for Hurley, and do some menuing. We'll evolve Drongo and Sid, give Sid to Swain, replace Sid's Water Bomb with Healing Tears, give Mighty the Burning Blade, and teach him Poison Pinch, which is the answer to last week's question. Flame is atrociously weak, so that's useless. Spiral of Fire requires a detour after we finish most of the game to open this purple chest. Blunt just reduces an enemy's attack, which is just plain useless. While bosses are generally immune to most status effects, one boss in the future is weak to poison, so we'll be taking advantage of that considering how quick it was to grab this gem. So good job to everyone who got the right answer. Here's some milk chocolate. Sorry, it looks like Mighty ate it. Here is this week's question. For the quest to gather the 3 stones for Morningstar, which dungeon do we go to last? Is it A, the Glittering Grotto, B, the Vault of Tears, or C, the Pirate Ship? Put your answers down in the comments and let me know why you think that is the answer. Drippy's mom here is late giving birth, so we'll get launched out of a cannon right into her mouth where we'll have to save all the Lilies who are under attack by monsters. In total, there's 5 rooms of monsters we have to defeat, and for each one we'll start with Sharpener into Mighty's Cut Loose before taking them out one by one with Mighty. We're using the Burning Blade on 4 of the fights because it's the strongest weapon, but we'll use the Rock Feather against this whale because it's weak to Storm. Once we've saved all the Lilies, we'll go down the tiny slidey where we encounter the Royal Jelly. This fight here is the main reason why we got the milk chocolates. This is a Mighty focused fight and it's an extremely long battle. The milk chocolate stays about 2 minutes on this fight alone, so with more Mighty battles, you can imagine there's no arguing that this saves time. Royal Jelly is weak to fire, so we'll have Mighty attack with Oliver casting Fireball when we need to swap back. Royal Jelly has some nasty attacks like Sea Stars, which confuses one person. Defending against it isn't a guarantee to avoid getting confused, and we don't have any way to cure it, so it just wastes a lot of time. We also can't defend against it with the Maul because his defend command is replaced with Psych Up, so he has no defensive option. She also has Bolt from the blue, which we'll defend against by using all out defense. This is a massive attack that can kill some of our party members if we're not careful, so we really want to defend against it. About halfway through, Royal Jelly will give birth to a bunch of baby jellyfish, which also stuns her for a good while. Royal Jelly takes more damage now, but we're not concerned about the damage in this phase. We'll have Mighty go ham on Royal Jelly, Sharpener or not, and pray for a Gold Glim to appear. If we get one, we'll grab it with Mighty to instantly get rid of all the baby jellies. If we don't, then we'll have to run around in circles spamming Cut Loose with Mighty to get rid of them, which is significantly slower. And I mean significantly slower. It takes about 5 Cut Looses to get rid of all of them, and both the animation and cooldown are very long. Any other Gold Glims will go to Oliver as his Burning Heart deals massive damage to the boss. With the baby jellies down, we'll just continue attacking with Mighty until we finally defeat her and save the Littlies from any more danger. To escape Mummy's tummy, we'll have to leave through Mummy's birth canal where we get reborn. Happy birthday, everyone! We'll try to abandon Drippy on the island, but unfortunately he comes running back to us. Now we'll resume our journey to Hamlin. At the shop we'll buy a Witch's Thorn for Boggly, 2 Soldier Spears for Strongo and Sid, a Grunt Shield for Mighty, a Soldier Smock for Strongo, and a Kagul for Boggly. We'll also give Mighty to Esther, put Hurley and Lamal in the reserve, and equip Strongo with Thunderspark and Splish Splash. Swain gives us these pig disguises to sneak into the castle, and once we're inside, we'll have to sneak past these guards. Normally the game wants you to hide in these dens in the walls to slowly get past all the guards using this roundabout path, but we actually have a much faster path. We'll go through this hallway instead and sneak right behind this guard and just stick behind him when he turns around to not get caught. We'll then do the same with this guard on the top for a massive shortcut. Going in, we'll encounter the next boss, Porco Grosso, which is this giant tank. Now we'll get to see a new boss strategy. Instead of using Oliver, we'll swap over to Esther and bring out Boggly to cast Enlighten. We'll then spend the fight having Strongo alternate between Thunderspark and Splish Splash. This is basically the same idea behind swapping between Oliver and Sid to bypass cooldowns, except it's much faster because there's no constantly swapping between 2 characters. Strongo will just carry this whole fight by himself. Splish Splash is much stronger than Thunderspark, so even though the boss is weak to Storm, both skills do comparable damage. The boss itself is quite annoying with skills like Roadhog, where it drives into at least 1 character. This is definitely one of those fights where we'll have to pop a lot of items, partially because the AI keeps getting killed, but also because Strongo burns through MP fast due to Splish Splash costing so much. Also, unlike with Sid and Oliver's magic, Strongo's magic has limited range, even though animation-wise, it looks like it should be the other way around. I mean, Strongo's magic just appears on the boss, while Sid shoots out a water ball. So why is Strongo the one with limited range? Anyways, Strongo can't cast from far away, so we have to get close or else we risk losing control of Strongo, which can have some negative consequences. In the later half of the fight, the boss also starts using Gamma Cannon, which is a massive attack that can instantly kill 1 character. So we'll really want to evade that with Strongo. Thankfully, the Adamant badges can save us, though we still want to avoid getting hit because of how aggressive this boss is. With Porco Grosso down, we'll continue on and find this ugly guy who's so ugly that he refuses to show his face around anyone. That's Marcuson, one of the great sages and ruler of Hamlin, but he's broken-hearted and missing his belief, so we'll leave and then get sent back 15 years into the past where we meet the former king of Hamlin, this annoying little shit Gastro, and his brother Mini Marcuson who sucks at magic. To get back to our time, we'll need to get Mornstar, which is the special wand that's been destroyed by Shadar in our time. So we'll head to the Tombstone Trail, but we get followed by these 2 even though they're supposed to be grounded back home. Shoo, go away. Here we'll see a new trick for skipping encounters. We'll first change our text speed to the slowest speed and then cast Levitate to fly across monsters. This follows the same principle as the familiar retreat glitch, except with Levitate's temporary text box. While this text box is on screen, monsters cannot move or interact with us, so we change text speed to slowest to give us more time with this text on screen and just casually float by all the monsters. This is definitely the best trick for skipping encounters casually since it's so easy to do, though unfortunately it doesn't work in the overworld, so the jump trick is still needed there. At the end of the trail, we'll encounter the next boss, Candelabra Cadabra, but that's a mouthful. We're also going to see yet another new boss strategy, which will explain why we got rid of all of Oliver's familiars earlier. The boss here is weak to light, so we'll spam Oliver's Arrow of Light to deal damage and counter as needed. One additional thing we'll do though is swapping over to Esther to toss a coffee or a Sage's Secret on Oliver, then swap back. This is the AI cast trick. The AI does not follow the same cooldown system as us, So if we cast a skill with Oliver and swap to an ally, AI Oliver can cast another spell right away. We had to get rid of all of Oliver's familiars earlier so that he's forced to use magic instead of a familiar. And while we're on all-out attack mode, Oliver has a decent chance to use another Arrow of Light as long as he has enough MP. It's not a guarantee, but it's better than having Oliver tossing items doing nothing. We'll be seeing this trick a lot moving forwards, as it's the most efficient way for fights where we have Oliver spamming spells. As for the boss, he has some annoying debuffs, but nothing too bad. Snuff Out is a cutscene attack that inflicts blindness, which lowers accuracy, but thankfully it has no effect on magic. His Boo skill is really fast, so it's hard to defend against that. It deals damage and also inflicts Curse, which again only reduces movement speed, so it's not too annoying. He also has Jack-o'-lantern, which just deals damage. Overall, the boss isn't too difficult, though this is where we start popping items like crazy because of how fast we burn through MP, and it's only going to get worse as we go because of how much the later spells cost. So you can see why having infinite money is so important. After taking down the boss, Mini Markison reveals that he's only been pretending to be bad at magic so that his dad doesn't abandon Gastro, who has no magic. We grab the legendary wand Mornstar from the coffin and get the Breach Time spell as well, which will let us travel back to our time, but it can only be used once in anyone's lifetime. Gastro leaves and walks his own separate path while we return Mini Markison home to find the king dying after denying Shadar's demands to surrender Hamlin. Kind of weird how he's been going around stealing hearts in the future, but he killed Markison's dad. Here we find out that Swain is actually adult Gastro as he watches his dad die in his arms. A few days later, Mini Markison also settles in as the new ruler of Hamlin, which instills belief in himself, which will take and give to his future self to cure him. He's still ugly though. Markison gives us some really nice spells, including travel, which now lets us fast travel to any towns and dungeons we've been to. He also lets us know that a map showing the location of Mornstar's gems was stolen by Kublai, the famous sky pirate, so we need to go find him with the power of the mini-map. We'll equip Mighty with a Rock Feather and Poison Pinch trick, equip Oliver with Mornstar, and give him back Mighty and Lamal for the upcoming fight. Red Dragon is the reason we wanted the Poison Pinch gem earlier. Red Dragon is weak to poison, or at the very least it's what causes the "now's your chance" effect. The Prima Guide says Red Dragon resists poison, which could be true, but hard to say either way. Red Dragon starts the fight off with a Dragon Scales, which makes him immune to poison. We'll spend this time attacking with a sharpened Mighty. Mighty doesn't hit too hard, but he's still the most efficient attacker here. The dragon has two moves to watch out for. His Dragon Breath is unavoidable. Just like with Alec Combo, he rubber bands towards you, so we'll have to defend against it. His other skill, Fire Stream, shoots a beam of fire straight forward, so it's easy to dodge. You just gotta make sure to be out of his line of sight. Once Dragon Skills goes down, Drippy will tell us about the dragon's weakness to poison, which is a guaranteed poison proc this first time. We'll go ham on the boss and keep attacking with Mighty. The poison itself does 417 damage each time we inflict it, which is about the same as 14 Mighty attacks. So on top of the additional stun type, it's very much worth using Poison Pinch. Once the boss gets back up, we can try spamming Poison Pinch whenever he doesn't have Dragon Scales active for about a 30% chance for poison to land and stun the boss. As an optional bit of safety, runners can also buy the Bluster Blade at the casino to make this fight faster and easier, though it only helps in this one fight, so it's iffy on whether it saves any time on average, if any at all. With the boss down, Kublai has us fix his other dragon Tengri who's been feeling under the weather lately, so we'll return to Motorville to find his soulmate. A soulmate for a dragon though? Where could we possibly find a dragon in the real world? We'll be finding out next week.